Hello everybody and welcome to my shop. I saw a bunch of videos on YouTube telling you how to start woodworking on a budget with something like less than $1,000, but they never tell you about the progression in terms of woodworking equipment and skills. So I'd like to share with you my story about how I started woodworking, so you can see the evolution in my shop of the tools and equipment, and also the kind of furnitures I've built. So I'll share that with you. I started woodworking with zero skills at all, and learned as I went, watching a bunch of videos online. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself and how I started. So I am Philippe. I'm the owner of Profield Woodworks. That's a side business I opened earlier this year. And I am French. I moved in the US about 4 years ago, and I had the opportunity to buy a house here in the US. I already had a house in France, and I left all the furniture over there. So when I moved over here, I had nothing, no furniture. So I decided to shop around online, and I went to multiple shops in the area, and I couldn't find anything I liked. So I said, well, if I have some time, I'll maybe build my own. So that's pretty much how I started. So you'll see how I started, what kind of furnitures I started working with, and we'll progress from there with also the tools I used to create those pieces of furniture. So I started with very few tools, and the first one was given by one of my best friends, who's even family here, and he gave me an old Delta miter saw, which I could use to start woodworking. I also started with construction lumber from the big box store, so as you can imagine, not very dry, very prone to wood movement. And it did move. We actually had to do surgery on the first piece of furniture we built. When I say we, it's my dad and I. So the first piece of furniture that I built was a console table for my living room. It was butcher shop construction, and I guess you can see a picture up there. And I'll also talk to you about the surgery we had to do. But first, let's start with the basic tools I got to start the build. So I mentioned this old vintage Delta miter saw. So there's an example here, which I gave to one of my friends also, so he can start woodworking himself. I replaced it with a better one, which we'll show you that in a minute also. So for the console table here, what did I use? Well, first, obviously, that's what I bought first, a tape measure. This is a Stanley, and this one has a particularity because at the very beginning I had not trouble, but it was difficult for me to convert from the metric system to the US system. So this one's got two types of measurements, metrics and imperial. But over time, I ended up not liking it at all. So I bought another type, which is a Craftsman, in this case 25 feet, and with only imperial measurements. And I like this thing, it's working pretty good for me. So measure, very good. Then you need to trace your wood, so obviously a pencil. You need to trace it square. So I bought this construction square, and I also bought at the same time this Swanson square here, which I use every day. So that's to cut square. To cut, I use a chop saw, as I told you. Then I also bought, just in case handsaw, European style handsaw, and I also bought at the same time a pool saw, Japanese pool saw, which this one is done. I need to buy another one, probably time to upgrade. So that's for cutting. So miter saw and these saws. Hey, regarding the miter saw, I replaced my old Delta with that one here. That's a DEWALT DWS779, and it comes with a stand over here, which I love. Extends on both sides. Dual bevel compound miter saw, I think you call it. I love this thing. To put stuff together, I used Type 3. Don't ask me why, because I didn't know anything about the waterproofness and stuff like that, but I love this type of glue, so I'm still using it today. And to pour the glue on the wood, I use the glue bot. I don't have the glue bot anymore. I'll show you the glue bot here. I don't have it anymore because I broke the lid, or I should say the cap that goes on top of the glue bot, so the glue started to dry, and it was really a pain, so I replaced it by simply condiment bottles, which you can find online. So let's do glue stuff together. Once you put the glue, you need to make sure it stays together. So I bought some F-style clamps, from a big bookstore. I bought, I think, 8 of these to start with. Still use them today. I like them very much. I'm using more now pipe clamps and parallel jaw clamps, but I still use those F-style clamps. As you say, never have enough clamps, so still using them today. Once you put stuff together, then you need to start sanding. To sand, I bought this Makita oscillating random orbital sander, and I'm still using it today. It's slow, but it's working great. I love this thing. I've done a bunch of stuff with this thing, and it's working very good. I did upgrade for over a bigger Bosch sander, but I still love this and still use it for finishing. While I was at it, for small intricate areas, I did these sanding blocks, and these you can find on the Next Level Carpentry YouTube channel. So I did these. I love them. They're working great, and I would recommend making these. This is very good starting project. And I did also buy a little bit later, but because I wanted to try, but I bought a Stanley number 4.5, which I use quite often. I find it nicer to use than this kind of stuff sometimes. So I use these quite a lot. And to put the table together, I also did horses. So horses, which I also found, and you see here, from Next Level Carpentry, same thing. That was the very first build before the furniture. I did a set of these, and these are working great for me. I love them. Very sturdy, and yeah, very good. Next Level Carpentry. Check it out. Very nice. So this is it for all the tools I bought already, and to make the console table, which you saw in the pictures over there. Regarding the surgery we had to do, that was on the underside. The table just worked really bad with all the humidity and the fact that the wood wasn't dry. So using one of these kind of stuff, circ saw, which is very old also. Was also given to me by the same friend, and this did miracles, really. We were able to unwrap this table, clamp it back together, put glue, some wedges in there, and everything's now flat and straight, so all good. I might show you pictures if you're asking for it in the comments. I'll post pictures. Okay, so I think this is it for all the basic tools I used to build my first piece of furniture, which was this console table. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you later. Thank you.